what makes a good seducer is a couple of things. Number one, you're very outer directed. So seduction is a language. It's a language that's not with words. That's what I say in the book. You have to learn this language. It's a language of gesture. It's a language of body, of nonverbal communication through the body. It's a language of behavior, etc. Okay? And people can read your body language. They can understand. They can sniff who you are. And if you're insecure, it's the number one turnoff. It's the number one anti-seductive trait, insecurity. If you've ever been in front of an insecure person, you know that they tend to infect you with insecurity yourself. They make you nervous. Whereas if you're with somebody who's confident, they can be maybe a little bit intimidating, but sometimes they usually sort of make you feel a little more confident, a little more open sometimes. So the number one most important trait of seducer is not being absorbed with yourself and thinking of you, who you are, and what you need to do and what your needs are and what you have to say, but being outer directed. And this is the game part that should be so exciting to you. That other person sitting across from you in a restaurant or a bar or wherever it is, hopefully not on Tinder because it's better to be out in the real world. That person sitting out there, they have their whole world. They have this old, totally different world, different childhood, different culture, different background, different experiences. They may be of a different gender, so they have a whole different way of thinking, et cetera, et cetera. How exciting for you to get inside their world and penetrate it and think about it. So a great seducer is genuinely interested in their psychology. One of the chapters in the Art of Seduction, it's very important, it's called Enter Their Spirit. You're entering their world, their spirit, and kind of seeing what the world looks like through their eyes. You master that technique, you will be a great, great seducer. So for instance, an insecure person, if they're sitting in this scenario in a restaurant or whatever, they're thinking of, what am I going to say next? Are they actually liking who I am? Are they attuned to me? It's all about you. You want to flip it around. You want to get rid of all that ego and that nervousness and be attentive to the other person. And that's the main trait of any great seducer. And it's kind of the most pleasant part of it is exploring that other person and figuring out who they are. So that, for instance, when you give a gift, which is a very seductive gesture, the gift is part of that language I mentioned. It's nonverbal communication. It says a lot about who you are. And people often are really bad at giving gifts. They're just very generic. They put no thought into it. They just give something that's expensive or that they saw in a movie or that's some product out there. If you're into their spirit, if you think about them, you listen to what they say, you hear about what they really are about, and you give them a gift. Yeah, so if you give something that reveals that you've been listening to them, right? That you heard something they said 5 days ago, a month ago, and then your gift reflects that, man, that has total seductive power. It's going to bring those defenses down. Whereas if you just give chocolate or roses or expensive rings, they'll be, they're okay, but it doesn't have the effect of that personalized attention. So that's the main trait of a great seducer.
Yeah, there's definitely not a lot of hotness to giving the same gift that everyone else gives or is in like the top Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing I ever got a girlfriend for a month anniversary was a rose, which I do in hindsight recognize how unoriginal that actually was.
If you're going to give flowers, maybe if you think, well, I'm going to give her flowers on Valentine's Day, first one of kind of a couple of weeks before, sort of find out what her favorite colors are. If she does have any preference for flowers or anything like that. And then you give something of that color or that particular flower. Well, that's much better than, if yellow is their favorite color, then just daffodils, which are the cheapest flowers around, will be a lot more meaningful than one red rose.